Title: Laura Ingraham insulted Jasmine's family. 21 later, she torched Ingram's adoption scandal. The TV studio lights were blinding, but Jasmine Crockett's mind was sharper than ever. She wasn't just here for herself. She was here for her family, her late mother's legacy, and the truth. Moments earlier, Laura Ingraham, the famous talk show host, had smiled into the camera and delivered a cruel blow. "You know, Jasmine," Laura had said with that patronizing smirk, "maybe your views make sense once we remember the kind of family you came from." It was the kind of comment designed to humiliate, sharp, personal, and deeply unfair. But Jasmine wasn't about to let that stand. The audience shifted uncomfortably. They expected Jasmine to defend herself with anger or sarcasm. Instead, she took a slow breath, remembering her mother's words, "The loudest truth is the one spoken calmly." Laura leaned back, smug. Jasmine leaned forward, her eyes unwavering. "Laura," she began, her voice steady, "you want to talk about families? Then let's talk about yours." The studio fell silent. In just 21 seconds, Jasmine laid out the details. How Laura's public image of being a family values advocate clashed with the hidden truth of a messy adoption scandal. A scandal where an adopted child had been treated as a photo op until the cameras were off, then pushed aside when caring became inconvenient. Jasmine didn't use insults. She didn't raise her voice. She told the story as it was, backed by verified reports, and ended with one simple question. Do you believe family is something you use, or something you fight for? Laura froze. For the first time that evening, her confidence cracked. The audience, both in the studio and at home, could feel it. But Jasmine didn't stop there. She shifted the spotlight away from Laura and back to the principle that mattered most. My mother raised me in a one-bedroom apartment, working 2 jobs so I could go to college. She never had a platform like yours, Laura. But she taught me something you can't fake. That family is about love, sacrifice, and showing up when it's hard. And that's why I fight for families who don't have a voice. The crowd erupted in applause, not because Laura had been owned, but because Jasmine had turned an insult into a powerful lesson about compassion and integrity. After the show, Jasmine stepped outside into the cool night air. A woman approached her, a stranger, tears in her eyes. My son is adopted, she said. I've been struggling, wondering if I'm enough for him. Hearing you tonight, it reminded me that love is what makes a family, not blood or headlines. Thank you. Jasmine smiled and hugged her. That's all that matters, she whispered. That night, thousands of viewers took away more than just a fiery exchange. They took away the reminder that dignity and kindness can stand taller than any insult, and that the truth, when spoken with heart, can change more than just a conversation, it can change people. Family is not defined by the easy moments, but by the hard ones you choose to walk through together. And when kindness meets courage, even the deepest insult can become a lesson that inspires the world. If you want, I can also create SEO-rich YouTube description, trending hashtags, and viral keywords so this story reaches USA, UK, and Canada audiences at scale. That would make it ready to publish as a narration video. As Jasmine walked toward her car, her phone buzzed non-stop. Messages, calls, notifications from people she'd never met. Some were journalists asking for interviews, but most were from ordinary people, single parents, foster kids, veterans, and even a few former political opponents. One message stood out. Hi Jasmine, I saw the show tonight. I've been estranged from my adoptive daughter for 5 years because I didn't know how to connect with her. Hearing your words made me realize I wasn't showing up when it mattered. I'm calling her tomorrow. Thank you. Jasmine sat in the driver's seat for a moment, letting the weight of that sink in. She'd gone into that interview ready to defend herself, but somehow, she'd ended up helping strangers heal wounds she didn't even know existed. Later that week, Jasmine was invited to speak at a community center in D.C. She walked into a packed room, expecting politics to dominate the conversation. Instead, a teenage girl stood up and asked, "How do you deal with people who try to tear your family apart with words?" Jasmine's answer was simple, but it landed like a stone in still water. You remember who you are, and you remember who they are not. Words can't define your worth, your actions do. And when you protect your family with love instead of hate, you've already won. The room fell quiet. People weren't just listening, they were feeling every word. In an unexpected turn, a week later, Laura Ingram's team reached out privately. It wasn't an apology. Not exactly, but an acknowledgement. They admitted that the comment about Jasmine's family had crossed a line. More surprisingly, Laura agreed to do a special episode about adoption, featuring adoptive parents who had struggled but persevered. She even invited Jasmine to join. When asked if she'd accept, Jasmine said yes, not for Laura's sake, but for the families watching who needed to see unity over division. During that episode, Jasmine shared stories of families she'd met since the viral moment, families of every race, religion, and background, all bound by love rather than blood. And when the cameras stopped rolling, Laura leaned over and said quietly, "You were right. Family is what you fight for." Jasmine didn't gloat. She simply smiled. Because in that moment, it wasn't about winning an argument, it was about changing a mind, even just a little. Months later, people still remembered the fiery exchange on live TV, but more importantly, they remembered the movement it sparked. A movement about showing up for family, no matter what form it takes. Jasmine often ended her speeches with the same line she used that night in the studio. Family isn't a title, it's a choice. And the people you choose, you fight for, every single day. And maybe, just maybe, that's how kindness wins battles that anger never could. If you want, I can now prepare a cinematic YouTube script format with scene cues, pauses, and emotional beats, so this would feel like a powerful narration video. That way it will fully engage USA, UK, and Canadian viewers for the full runtime.